Thank you for joining Navigating the Truth. It is April 30th, 2023, and my guest today is Steph Northcote. And Steph is a yoga teacher, and we will be talking all things yoga. Enjoy the show.
We interrupt to bring you this.
We've hijacked your daily dose of regurgitated news to bring you Navigating the Truth. Brace yourself, listeners, as you're about to enter a world where the narrative is no longer masqueraded as the truth. A world where the conspiracies of yesterday's translate into the truths of today.
Are you listening?
The veils covering the truth are lifting, and understandings once suppressed are finally being revealed. Will you be ready? And now, your host and navigator through these circles of lies, the host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome to Navigating the Truth. It is April the 30th, and it's a happy Beltane to anybody who celebrates, or May Day, which will be tomorrow. And I hope you're all having a great day. And I'd like to thank the listeners who have chosen to listen in today. I have a very special guest. I have Steph Northcote. Northcote, I should say it in the Scottish way, okay? And let me read her bio to you. Before yoga found me, I had been working in an office 9 to 5 for years. I had given yoga exactly zero thought until I stumbled into my first class. I went on a whim with a friend because we had agreed over a glass of wine. Many things are agreed over glasses of wine. That it was a great idea. My first class was a challenge, to say the least, but I loved it. I loved the weird shapes and the breathing. I loved how kind the people were and how I felt in my body and in myself afterwards. I kept going back to class, started reading and practicing in my own time. Naturally, there came a point where I wanted to know more, and I didn't know where to look, really. That's where yoga teacher training came in. I completed my initial 200-hour YTT with CYS Glasgow at Merchant City Yoga. Since then, I have taught over 1,000 hours of yoga. I've had the privilege to practice and learn from some amazing teachers, completing further training in yin yoga, restorative yoga, yoga for kids, and Ayurvedic massage. For me, yoga is practiced and very much a practice for today. It is so much more than what happens on the yoga mat. It's in my relationships, it's how I choose to act, respond, and be. Yoga teaches me to be myself first and then give others a space to be themselves. In teaching and sharing yoga, I hope to open the door to possibilities, discovery, and change for others with the same care and compassion as it has opened for me. And I'd like you to welcome listeners to Steph. Hi, Steph. How are you doing?
Hi there. I'm good, yeah. Thanks, Caroline.
That's a great bio. So basically, by your bio, this happened over a glass of wine.
Yeah, you're right. All best decisions happen then.
They do. Some of the best, some of not so.
Yeah, also some bad ones.
And some bad ones. Yeah, too many glasses of wines. So tell me about your first class. Tell me what happened.
Yeah, so I remember we were sitting and I think we had started having a discussion about, getting fitter and just doing something good for ourselves. And I think I'd never even thought about yoga, to be honest. But my friend is actually my brother's partner. She had been to a few classes before and suggested we give it a go. So I think she kind of forgot about it. But then something, I kind of held her to it. And then I did a bit of Googling, and I think the closest class at the time was in Glasgow, that's like a 50-minute train journey at the time. I think they're a bit quicker now, but so it was a fair bit away. And it was the best time. So ended up in my first class in the middle of Glasgow after work. And it turned out that it's Ashtanga yoga, if anybody knows what that is. So it's quite a strong, dynamic type of yoga. You get lots of different kinds. But this was supposed to be a beginner's class. But like, I think it might have been beginners for someone that had any aptitude for movement and maybe yoga. But for me, it was really tricky, and there was just so much I couldn't do. But it was amazing looking around the room and seeing the focus and attention that people had for it. So yeah, there's just I couldn't even tell you what it was that brought me back again, but just from there it started really quick. I just kept coming back week after week, and then it kind of grew from 1 class a week to 2 classes to 3. And then teacher training happened after a few years, which was and I never really did it to teach, actually. It was just more to kind of learn more about yoga, and kind of more in the sense, because there's only so much you can get from a kind of movement class, but more about the kind of philosophy of it, and all the different parts, really. So it was totally random, and it just happened by accident, really.
When was that? Like, what year was that?
2015. So
2015.
Yeah, a couple of years practicing, going to classes, and then teacher training in 2017, because I graduated in the 2018. So it happened all pretty fast.
Yeah, and you were one of the classes that were actually still kind of going through the lockdown that we had, the whole world experienced. And it was really interesting. Like, I felt great appreciation for the fact that you were doing it. And me and Willow we had been joined the gym in Saltcoats, and we had been taking a class there with this lovely little lady, and then that all stopped, so there wasn't any class. And then we found you, and Willow had such a transformation. Everything, like, during lockdown, people were gaining weight. Willow was losing weight. Like, she was getting in shape. She was changing her diet. And I mean, she was going into her room and doing yoga and lifting weights, and
that's amazing.
Right? It just had this. I think a lot of people had time to think about things, and a lot of things that weren't serving us kind of fell away. And the things that we wanted to expand on or focus, we were able to do that. But yeah, I love your class. I love your style. I feel it's very non-judgment. There's no judgment there in the class, and the people that show up to the class as well are really. We're all just kind of looking for the same thing, like moving our body, getting ourselves focused, breathing. It's amazing how we forget to breathe.
I find myself doing it all the time. All of a sudden you've been holding your breath and you're like, why are you doing that, Steph?
Well, also, like, when I noticed this a number of years ago, if I was watching a movie that was like a thriller or something, I would be all tensed up. Like, I'd be sitting all tensed. So, like, awareness of what's going on in our body. So, like, what was some of the breakthroughs that you had, like, during your yoga? Like, you said that it was difficult in the beginning.
To be honest with you, it's still pretty difficult.
It's difficult for me too.
It just depends on the day, doesn't it? And some days you go and you get to your mat and you're like, it just flows and it's all normal and it just feels really good and it works for you. And then other days you do it and you're like, just dragging myself around, like, why am I doing this? I don't feel like it. But I think it's on days like that you maybe build a kind of resiliency that helps you, like, off the mat, if you know what I mean. So it's I think going through, though, like, kind of breakthrough moments and things. Do you know that weight's there's just so massive. But I think probably for me was because I'm totally like a quiet, reserved, like I'll sit in the back row and not say a word kind of person. Which so doing something like this, even chatting on live radio, hello, or standing in front of a group of people, like, that's just totally that's totally foreign to me, not something I ever intended to do, I would actively avoid doing. So I think for me, yoga has kind of given me kind of confidence to kind of like speak for myself. Actually, I think I would say that, and kind of know that I've got something to say and something maybe to offer that would be useful or helpful to other people.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's probably like the biggest thing that I've got out of yoga and kind of yoga practice.
Oh, you're a natural. You really are. Like, you know what? I'm always amazed. Like when I'm at the class, it's almost like, well, I can only speak for myself. Like it's almost like I tune in so deeply that I know the next move. I know the next thing that you're going to say, and I find myself doing it right before you say it.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah,
it's
and
intuitive.
then you say it, and I go, like.
Yeah, I was just about to do that.
Yeah, it's really really great. Says, and I love the relaxation. I gotta say,
It is the best. It's the thing we all wait for, I think.
It is like, well, we work very hard to get to that, where we all lie on our mats going, whew.
Yeah, I think sometimes you need the kind of physicality sometimes before it to be able to really appreciate that part, I think. It's sort of like that kind of tense release thing. And you can really like sink into it at the end. And it's definitely a reward for doing all that hard work as well.
Yeah, I live for rewards. I do. That's terrible, but I do. The other thing I was going to ask you was, did you like you for your bio? You've wandered into other types of yoga as well.
Yeah. So there's just so many different kinds. So my teacher training, it was based on Ashtanga yoga, really. So that's a really good one because it's a set sequence, if you know it, and it gives you all of the postures, and then you can then take that and make your own sequences and things, and really really know the postures inside out. So there's a lot of repetition in that kind of style of yoga. But it's kind of considered hatha yoga, which is, if you imagine that like the umbrella, all the other yogas sit underneath it. So you've got like Ashtanga yoga under the umbrella, there's yin, restorative, vinyasa, forest, there's just so many different kinds. But anything that involves the body and breathing is really like hatha yoga. And so there's only so much you can, like 200 hours sounds like a lot, but it's really not a lot of training at all. So yin yoga, it's more of a it's a really slow kind of practice, which I really enjoyed that, kind of learning more about that and how to sequence and time things, and actually what long holds in the body, like long holds in postures, what that would do in the body. So that was really great. But my like absolute love just now is restorative yoga. And for that, you use lots of props. So you came to one of the classes.
I did.
Like the more props, the better. So like blocks, blankets. You can, if you're doing it in the house, you can pull the duvet off the bed, the pillows, and it's making yourself really comfortable in all the poses so that you can get that real kind of like relaxation. And it's a really difficult thing to explain unless you've kind of felt it yourself. But it's a real kind of drop in, and there's this kind of peace there, I think. So that's my absolute love. I love restorative yoga just now, but it wouldn't make sense unless I had an active practice as well, do you know? So that they kind of go hand in hand.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And I was fortunate to go to one of your restorative classes, and I loved it. Like it felt like it moved me into a deeper awareness in my body. And a very it was a very calm energy. Like it was just really appreciated the stillness. Yeah,
I think when I do it, I always feel like everything's kind of like technical after, if that makes sense. So everything just seems more I suppose just kind of like being more appreciative of things and seeing things clearer, I think, afterwards.
Yeah, it's like the colour just gets turned up on everything. Like the vibrancy, like, is that a better word for it? Vibrancy?
Yeah,
like,
that's a good word.
That's a good word, right? Yeah. Yeah, because you feel even vibrant in yourself, the rushing has stopped. Like, I don't know about you, but like there's a lot of rushing
It
like
really
going on.
is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you don't get time to really pause. So like an hour of restorative, it was actually an hour and a half, that class. An hour, it reminded me, just to take the time and appreciate myself and others around me and everything around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the teacher I learned with, it's Judith Laster's her name. She's kind of like the queen of restorative yoga. She's brilliant. But I think she suggests, so they call it Shavasana, or that would be like our resting position at the end of class. But she would say do 20 minutes of Shavasana a day, which is actually a really hard thing to do because there is so much to do in a day. We're all really busy, and sometimes it can sort of feel like, oh, I don't have time for that. That's not a good use of my time, or maybe a waste of time, you might say. So that's a real practice in itself, kind of finding the time and the space to give yourself that time to relax, or do your Shavasana relaxation practice. But yeah, it's a really powerful one. I think it sort of bypasses, like if you wanted to get into meditation, it's like a way into that through the body restorative yoga. I think it gives you that, you have to deal with your brain and all the things that come up when you're trying to kind of find that stillness. And that's really what you're doing in meditation as well. So I think it's a sort of little shortcut. It's kind of like a turn around the corner a wee bit quicker. So I think all the practices kind of merge into each other. But it's interesting.
And it's also the individual, like, we're all different. We all like perceive everything different, and we all have different needs. So it's like one of the listeners could be like, for the past 20 years wanted to take a class but never really, like, even to look at a video, like, there's so much out there, and do like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, of breathing. I love breathing. Like, when we do
breathing is great.
I mean, that sounds really stupid, but
I know exactly
breathing. But yeah, no, I love that, like, the deep breathing, and holding the breath, and I get into all different kinds of yoga. Like, I was fortunate. It was easily accessible where I was in New York. It was all around me. And there was a time I really got into chanting. Like, I loved it. I just loved it. Like, I would chant for hours. And Willow was a little girl, and I used to drag her to some of these chants. They would be for like universal healing or heal the world or whatever. Like, I was a big woo-woo back in the day. And she didn't like it. She didn't like, but she would go because I was making the decision. But now look what's happened. Now she's making these decisions for herself. I didn't think it would harm her back then. To be around it, especially all the chanting. I love the chanting.
It's really amazing, especially in a group when there's lots of people doing it. Yeah,
it's really cool. And I think it kind of takes you out, of yourself, and transports you into like a much more peaceful realm, which is easily, it's around us, it's there, it's like our field that's around us, and you're just kind of sitting in that. And I've seen people in yoga classes, and the dynamic of the class, somebody could be struggling, but it's almost like the energy of the class like picks them up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have you seen that? Yeah.
that has happened to me more than once.
Yeah.
Practicing with other people is just an amazing thing.
Mhm.
It gives you an energy, and it's a kind of camaraderie with it as well, because it, like, even if someone looks like they've got it all together,
Mhm.
you can guarantee they're struggling with something, and it might look good on the outside, but maybe on the inside, it's all just a bit tricky that day.
Mhm.
So yeah, there really is something with practicing with a group around you and other people.
Definitely. Like, I mean, there was times when I would think to myself, there is no way I'm going to be able to do this. And
Yeah.
then I would be able to do it, and I'd be able to do it like effortlessly.
All of a sudden you're at the end of the class,
Yeah.
like, oh, what was that about?
Yeah, really. Why did I think I couldn't do that?
Yeah, like telling yourself a story. I think it's like, oh, I can't
Well,
do this
yeah.
today.
Yeah. Well, I saw that mind chatter, right? It's all the,
Yeah.
yeah, constant, like, what is it called? Monkey brain?
Yeah.
The monkey brain? No, I don't want no monkey brain. Thank you very much. The other thing is the awareness of food.
Yeah.
It takes you there as well. Like, again, I'm only speaking for myself. Like, what about yourself? Did it shift in any way? Like, your awareness,
Um,
food
I
for
think,
energy?
yeah. So so probably for the first year of my practice, like, and not, yeah, something, probably quite a lot changed with food actually, and I was kind of a little overweight when I first started yoga, and I actually lost an awful lot of weight,
Mm-hmm.
just in the first couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
I ended up, I think I started trying vegetarianism, and I'd done that for quite a while actually. I think there's a kind of lightness about a vegetarian diet which really suited where I was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a little bit of an injury during lockdown, which
Mm-hmm.
kind of, like, I wasn't doing that strong practice that I had been. So I started putting weight on during lockdown. So
Yeah.
I've kind of started evening out again.
Yeah.
And it's a tricky thing with foods, but definitely I think it makes you more aware of everything, really.
Well, yeah. Yeah. You
Yeah.
become super aware of your body and what you're putting into it, like, as far as, like, how you feel, your
Yeah.
energy levels, like, it all. Like, yeah, I went through, like, vegetarianism, veganism. Like, I've did it all, like,
Yeah.
all kind of diets, like, and one of the things about vegan, when I did vegan, I was so light, I thought I was going to float off the planet,
Yeah.
It was like there wasn't really much, like, kind of keeping me here.
Yeah.
My diet, like, and the minute that I moved to eating anything else. Oh, we're coming up on a break, so hang in there, listeners. We will be right back, and we will continue this talk about the food.
You're listening to Navigating the Truth with Caroline Bell Tumblety, where the truth survives and the lies are exposed.
I just want to assure you that everything is under control. There's been no damage except for some temporary malfunction of the radio.
Come be a part of this awakening by joining us in chat or by calling our hotline at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230. Worldwide callers, find us on Skype at KCOR Radio.
We're pushing the ultimate frontier here.
Control must be maintained.
More disinformation exposed and the truth discovered. After a word from our sponsors.
1 million miles till midnight. A story of timelines, artificial worlds, simulated races, and the galactic imprint. And the destiny of a blue world called Earth. 1 million miles till midnight, written by Solaris Blue Raven, is a journey through the mind's eye which allows the reader to surf a wave of technological and multidimensional intellect, revealing a bridge between conscious design and the truth. A multidimensional bleed-through awakens the world of artificial intelligence to set sail into the frontiers of a vast multiverse, morphing planets and terraforming ascended worlds beyond the linear programs of a fated race. 1 million miles till midnight will awaken, inspire, prepare, and enlighten one to the many multidimensional states of consciousness and worlds we reside in. With every cell and atom, we are this truth and multiverse. 1 million miles till midnight. Written by Solaris Blue Raven. Available now at Amazon.com. Don't wait. Get your copy today.
1, 2, 3, 4.
To the KCOR Digital Radio Network.
I love the way it sounds.
Love the music. I listen all day.
The future of radio is here and now.
Alien Deceptions, a suspenseful sci-fi romance thriller by Tina Marie, featuring the tantalizing Erica Jones and the mysterious Russell Hamilton. An out-of-this-world book of fiction based on years of document facts and files the government does not want you to know about, at least not yet. Alien Deceptions by Tina Marie. Available now at Amazon.com or get a signed copy at TinaMarieEntertainment.com. Get your copy now.
Change your frequency, change your life with the Lemurian Plug. The Lemurian Plug is easy to control, simple to set up, and wireless. It helps to neutralize toxins and has restorative frequencies for healing. It also helps to protect you and your family from EMFs. The Lemurian Plug is energy efficient and designed using ancient technology for a superior design. One unit can cover up to 1,000 square feet. This life-changing product is reasonably priced. And isn't your family's health worth a small investment? For more information on the miraculous effects of this plug or to purchase the Lemurian Plug, visit thelemurianplug.com. That's thelemurianplug.com. The Lemurian Plug is like nothing you've ever experienced. Order yours today.
Vegas, baby.
Vegas' #1 source for talk and new music.
How cool is that?
Going live in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Navigating the Truth, the one show that peels back the masks of the elite and exposes the truth we're not being told.
Here to warn you.
You must not abuse the power you've been given. Eventually, you will lose control of that power and the whole world will suffer.
Come partake in the awakening by calling the show at 702-425-9230. That's 702-425-9230.
Give us a call now.
Those around the world, connect with us on Skype at KCOR Radio. Follow us on Twitter at KCOR Radio or use hashtag KCOR. Come engage in the discussion live in our chat room at www.kcorradio.com.
Our survival depends upon it.
Now, back to examining the narratives and uncovering the truth with your host of Navigating the Truth, Caroline Bell Tumblety. Caroline Bell Tumblety.
Hi, welcome back to Navigating the Truth, and I am your host, Caroline Bell Tumblety, and this is Sunday, the 30th of April, and we are having a chat with Steph Northcote. And I guess we had a question. No, we didn't have a question. We had a comment from Christum that said he's really loving the show. So thank you for that. Thank you for that. I just had to go and look at it. So Steph, we were talking right before we went on break. We were talking about food, like a relationship with food, and I think I had kind of mentioned that I had tried a whole bunch of different things with food and became very aware of it. And as you were saying, you had too, but also during the break, we had been talking about how your life is pretty much changed its direction like 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Total turn.
total turn. Which is, for anybody out there who is thinking about it, do it. You know,
Yeah, you just never know where you'll end up.
that's
I
true.
think, yeah, it's when we were talking about me and my friend, and we were having that chat, and I just kind of went through this period of saying yes to things, and I was the no person. If I thought it was going to like put me in a situation where I was going to feel super uncomfortable, I was definitely the no person. And I started saying yes to stuff, and obviously you need to balance that out. You can't say yes to everything. But yeah, I think it's kind of stepping out your comfort zone sometimes, and making space for something else.
Yeah, something else to come in. Like when you said that you were a no person when I asked you to be a guest.
Yes.
We were talking about this earlier. Like the reaction for you was your eyes got really wide.
Like I just like panic.
But immediately after that, this other energy came in, and you went, "Oh yeah, I would love to."
Yeah, it's like, Stephanie, come on.
Well, it was like you just barreled right through it. You know, it was like it was an obstacle that had came up, and you just moved it out the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I think that was probably like back to the same decision going to yoga class. It was sort of like, oh no, I couldn't do that because people are going to look at me when I go in the room, and I'll have to speak to people, and it would have been a definite no on a different day. But yeah, like saying yes, why not? Why not? What's the worst that could happen?
All good things.
Yes.
All good things will happen. All good things. The like I'm still like thinking about like you got your degree, and was it fine arts? You got it?
It was fine art, yeah. So I actually moved away from home, which is quite out of the box for me. And I went to Dundee, and I did my degree in fine art there, which I loved, and it was, that way you had learning how to look after yourself and everything. I was on my own, and but yeah, no, that was brilliant, and having the space to be creative all the time was just amazing. But yeah, like I think, that way if I went and did it now, I would probably get more out of it. But yeah, like after uni, I came back home, and I had been working in a shop, like every second week when I was at uni, but the store was at home, so I used to travel back on the megabus. Quite a lot. I was familiar with getting trains and buses, and so I'd been traveling back and forth, and then after uni I came back, and they were looking for somebody full time, so I started working in the shop. And then they got wind of the fact that I had this degree in fine art, and I might know stuff about photography. So then I ended up moving over to the e-commerce side of the business. And I did like everything you can expect. So like writing product descriptions, marketing, taking the pictures, all these things. And I did that for, oh gosh, I don't even know how long I did that. It was many years. And then ended up, that conversation about going to yoga class happened, and then I don't know how many chats I had with my boss. They were so good, they were so kind to me. It's okay if I leave an hour early so I can go to class, this thing's on it in Glasgow, I'm doing this yoga thing, and they were always so good with me, and helped me make the space for it. So I'd work an extra hour like every other day so that I could go on a Thursday for this big long yoga class or whatever it was. So that they kind of, they made it possible, because if they'd said no, it'd have been a bit trickier, and everything would probably have been a bit slower. But so from
there are a lot of companies out there that do look out for the people who work for them. They go that wee extra, like Willow has been fortunate where she works as well, where they're they're accommodating, and I think it's important, like they're not threatened by the fact that she might leave one day, because you might go in a totally different direction because their interests are changing. And it
Yeah.
seems that's what happened with you. It's fortunate, it's fortunate that I wish everybody was like that, looking
Yeah,
out
I think
for.
you get more out of your staff when you look after them, I think.
I believe that. Yeah, I
Yeah,
believe that.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I do. I believe that. I really don't like this trend that seems to be happening in certain areas where they don't want that kind of relationship with them. It's like, in fact, there was something that happened. Like, see how in some businesses, well, you'll all like kind of get a birthday card when you know somebody's having a birthday.
Yeah.
Like we'd all sign it, that kind of thing. That's being discouraged.
That's a
It's
shame.
right. It's a very
Yeah.
subtle thing, but these kind of things are starting to be discouraged, and I don't like that. I think the employees be as friendly as you want. I mean, for a lot of people, their jobs, they're spending an awful lot of time there.
Yeah. It's kind of like a second family sometimes, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of
Your
times
working family.
that's how people make friends as well. Like
Yeah.
they'll be working with somebody and they'll end up with a lifelong friendship. So yeah, I think more supportive roles are to be encouraged for sure.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
Really.
And yoga class.
Yeah, also like employee yoga class.
Yeah, right. Like I know that some companies started things like that. They would do like yoga in the morning.
Yeah.
Like this might have been a New York thing, but or a California thing, but I remember there were things like that would happen.
Yeah, I've taught some corporate classes here.
Mhm.
Some of them are online. Actually, it was in the middle of COVID, so like in
Yeah.
service days or special healthy working days or whatever they were having in the in whatever business it was. They would have a little program of events and they might stick yoga on it. So yeah, I've done a few things like that as well. But yeah, no, it's definitely something I think we could do with more of.
Definitely, definitely. Like I love when I read about like there'll be like they'll take like pets into nursing homes and care homes, and they'll let like the dogs just kind of wander around, like the
Yeah, the therapy
elderly.
pets.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
it
lovely.
has such a positive effect on. I mean, some of the people who are in care homes or nursing homes, I don't even think they get a visitor.
Yeah.
It's sad, But to sit with a wee cat on your lap, purring away, or a dog, coming up and sitting by you, I think it's really important, these things, not to forget these things. These are the things that keep it real and also keep us soft. Like
Yes.
it does, like softens the heart, softens the compassion for each other. Yeah, I'm all about that. So I'm all about that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you, what was the hardest class you ever done? I have to ask you that.
Ooh, let me think. Oh, Jings.
They've all been easy.
See, I have more hard classes. Do you know something? I think I have more hard classes than easy ones just now, which is making it difficult to choose. My thing is, just keep showing up anyway.
Yeah.
And I kind of trust that you'll go do the work, and it is just kind of showing up for yourself. I've had a few classes where, like as I said before, I just didn't have the energy, and I was telling myself the story that I could not do this today.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We did. We
somehow
talked about that.
Always managed to get on the train and get in for class, and it's never been a bad idea for me. I've never walked out thinking, gosh, I wish I hadn't done that tonight. It's usually, thank goodness I did that tonight.
Go through it. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, I've probably had a few real tricky classes in my time, but usually by the time you get to about halfway, I'm starting to feel a little bit better. And then all of a sudden it's time for relaxation, and then that just makes everything better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, you teach, and how many times a week do you teach?
I teach, so it kind of depends on the time of year. So I do a couple of extra classes out with my Three Towns yoga classes. But for Three Towns, I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 classes. And I also teach once a week at a gym as well. And then I sometimes do community classes depending on the time of year. And that's another 2 classes a week. So it's quite a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, but just now I've been teaching 5 classes the last 2 weeks, and then next week it's going up to 6, and then the week after that's going to 7 or maybe 8. Yeah, I need to check the calendar, but it's usually between like 5, 8, 9, and sometimes I get a bit of cover work as well, which is always nice. It's always lovely to go and see completely new people you've never seen before.
Yeah.
Who are used to practicing yoga. That's always really interesting to see. I suppose like it's really interesting because you stand at the front of the class and you give your instructions and you help people where you can, but you don't realise sometimes that something you're saying just does not make sense until you say it to a group of people that aren't used to you and nothing happens. Which is always quite funny. But yeah, so I think I'll kind of learn and grow with every class. There's no end point to the learning, especially with yoga. I think it's just continuous. I think.
And all the different types of yoga that's out there, like there's so many choices.
Yeah, and then for every choice, then there's like so many teachers that would teach that choice in their own way and in a different way. So I think if you go to a yoga class and you're thinking, not sure if I like that or if this was quite for me, then try a different one. You'll find one that will work for you eventually, because it's a kind of, a teacher's going to teach you their experience and what they know, and it's going to be different in every space as well. So I think there's a yoga class for everyone, and there's a teacher and a space for everyone as well. But sometimes it can just take I was really lucky. I walked in and that was my place. But I know that's not the case for everybody. But sometimes people try it out and they think, oh, I don't know if this is for me, and then they kind of let it go and don't do it again, which is a real shame, because I think that there definitely is a space. You'll find somewhere that's the right thing for you. And there is so much choice, and I think it's important to kind of remember that if you're thinking about trying yoga.
Try all the different kinds, until you find the one that fits.
And then it might fit for a certain amount of time, and then it won't fit, and then you'll need to rethink it. So it's this constant evolving thing.
Definitely. I did Kundalini yoga for many years. I did it, and I loved it. But again, it wasn't like I wasn't interested in the religious aspect to it. I wasn't interested in it. Was all the chanting and actually challenging my body, because they hold poses for like half an hour.
Oh my goodness. That's long.
You have your arms up in the air and this breathing going on, and your arms are up for like 30 minutes.
Wow.
And you think they're going to break off and fall.
And you're developing a relationship with your arms.
And you're shaking, everything's shaking in your body, but you breathe through it, you chant. That was the thing, that was it, because you would be chanting through the positions. Like you would be holding it, and one of the best classes I went to was they constantly played different music for, I guess it was the community Kundalini, and they would all record different music, and some of the teachers would line up their classes with the music. So you would be sitting there chanting all the way through. That was that made it easy for me.
Yeah.
Because I'd be singing like it just. But yeah, that was a challenge. But I loved it. I loved it for many, many years, and then I moved on. I remember doing hatha yoga And the teacher that I had found was up in the Catskills, and he was an older gentleman, and he had a totally different approach to it. And it was he believed that we held energy, like stuck energy, and the poses that he would come up with, you would find yourself shaking.
Yeah.
And he would say, "That's you. You're letting it go. You're releasing it. Like shake away."
Yeah.
You know, and it was kind of like you're like it was kind of wild.
Yeah.
And I think back on it, you know, somebody walking into the room and going, "Oh, what's going on here?" You know, they're lying around shaking.
This is weird.
Yeah, but it's like that tension that you hold in your body has got to go somewhere, you know?
Yeah. I remember my first couple of classes, I was shaking all the time. And I only ever held poses for 5 breaths, so I honestly can't imagine holding a pose for 30 minutes that doesn't involve props and lying down.
Well, I think that's the style. Well, it is the style of Kundalini yoga. Like the whole style of that is to hold these positions
for a long time.
For a long, long time. And there was one, oh my God, I would get in my own way. And like, I cannot do this anymore. And it was the frog. But you had to, like, you would squat and then stand up, squat and then stand up. And you're doing this for 15 minutes.
Wow.
And I would be like, I'm going to die. I'm just going to die. You know,
not one more. I can't do one more.
I cannot do one more. No, but I would get through it, and it would be the class, like the energy of the class. It would be the chanting, and I would be so surprised. But the next day, I would hurt in places that I didn't even know that I had muscles. I remember trying to get into my car. Oh, I'll never forget this one. I was I was lifting my legs in to the car.
Goodness.
Because I had worked muscles that I just didn't know existed.
Wow.
Yeah, it was wild. It was really, really wild.
I think I always think, very. I always think the hard stuff on yoga mat is kind of like testing ground. So like you're doing hard stuff there, and it's not it's there's no kind of it's like it is practice ground. There's no life-threatening thing about it, you know, other than what we place on it. But then you can kind of take that away from your mat, and when stuff's hard outside of your practice, you know, you've got that kind of
it's like a resilience.
Process.
Yeah. Like I can really relate to that. Like it was almost like the inner strength.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Right? It's your inner strength. It gets really strong. I mean, I remember like in work situations, things would happen that would, in the past, would have really, really upset me or sent me into like some kind of spiral, you know, like because of the stress of the work. But when I was doing like Kundalini yoga, Hatha yoga, it was a breeze.
Yeah.
Every day was a breeze. You know, there really wasn't much that was getting to me. You know, that was how it felt anyway. You know, it was like it was just all bouncing off me, and I was just dealing with things as they happened.
Because you kind of you've developed the skills to do it, kind of.
Inside resilience, inner strength. That is a real thing. Like I can attest to that. That is a real thing.
Yeah, I think that's where the confidence thing with me that I built it on my mat first.
Yeah.
You know, like you do something, you're like, I can't do that. First time you try it, and then you try it again and again and again, and all of a sudden you're kind of developing the ability to do it and the confidence in yourself that you can do it and you can be there in that pose, and you know you're not going to fall over, be sick or anything. You know, all of the worst case scenarios that popped into your head, and you do develop that kind of confidence, and then I feel like that kind of came out into other areas of life, I think. It's definitely developed it on the mat.
It's great. You are a wonderful teacher. You really, really are. Like,
thank you.
I think I said that in the break. Like, I feel like you're like sunshine. You know, like at the front of the room.
Yeah, so lovely.
Yeah, you are. You are. You like. You are. That's just your energy is that way. It's very very serene and really upbeat. Like it's yeah, I enjoy you. I do. I
Oh,
appreciate
thank
you.
you so much. That's
Yeah.
lovely.
No, thank you. Like, I'm just glad that you're here. You're in the three towns and we found you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's wonderful. It really is. There's so much to it as well. Like the yoga. Oh my, how many books? Like there's Tibetan sleep yoga. Like
So much.
there's so much. I remember practicing that where you get you get yourself into a position before you fall asleep so that you become lucid in the dreams.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
amazing.
I remember doing that for like about 18 months, Like
Yeah.
And then it's like next I look for like the next thing.
It's giving yourself new experiences. I think it's just such a good thing. But
Yeah.
I'm needing a new bookshelf for all my yoga books, I think.
Do you know, I never tire of books.
No, neither do I.
I love my books and I don't really like Kindle.
There's something really lovely about like a book in your hands, and it's like a physical thing. It's practical and it's there. But yeah, a digital. I've never really taken to Kindle.
Like I'll do it like if I'm traveling.
It's handy.
It is. These things are convenient, but I love my books. I love the smelly, like I don't know what the old bookstores and stuff.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I do. There's one in Edinburgh. Like I can literally spend about 3 or 4 hours easily in there. Oh, look at that. We're coming up on another break, Steph. So
lovely.
Grab a cup of tea. You have been listening to Navigating the Truth with my guest Steph Northcote, and we were talking about all things yoga. If you would like to hear this interview in its entirety, please go to kcorradio.com and you can access the archive for free. Thank you so much.